Hello, friends, and welcome to the Self-Care Academy podcast. I am your host, Lucy Kobier. Together, we are going to be redefining self-care, improving our well-being, and achieving success. Let's dive on in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Self-Care Academy podcast. I'm your host, Lucy Kobier, and today I am super privileged to have Leah Dortmann on the podcast with me today. Thanks for joining us, Leah.
Thank you so much for having me, Lucy. I can't wait to chat with you.
So Leah was crowned Mrs. Galaxy Australia back on the 6th of May, 2023, and has been diligently representing the title since then. Her pageant journey began with a remarkable victory in her inaugural competition, which led to her representing Australia at the International Pageant in Orlando, where she achieved the first runner-up position in her second pageant ever. That is pretty amazing achievement right there. But Leah's platform and legacy is called Unstoppable Her. It is a powerful platform dedicated to empowering women by nurturing their confidence and reframing mental health issues such as depression, low confidence and self-worth, and shame struggles as a source of strength rather than hindrance. Her mission is to share her remarkable journey to the crown with the intention of motivating and uplifting others. As a result of her involvement in the pageant industry, Leah is now an international keynote motivational speaker, co-host of the podcast Unstoppable Her with Leah and Mal, and co-founder of The Confidence Edit, Empower Your Confidence, Edit Your Success, a business dedicated to empowering women towards greater confidence through holistic support in nutrition, fitness, mindset, and community. Wow, that's quite an impressive impact that you're having in a really short space of time, like from winning just back in 2023 to here
Yes.
now. So welcome, Leah. Wow.
Thank you. Hasn't even been a year yet, so it's been a whirlwind.
That has been a lot to achieve in a year. Do you want to share a bit more about your journey, kind of how you got onto the road to even entering the pageant world? In Australia, pageants are a little bit of a mystery bubble to a lot of us. So would love to hear how you got involved and how your journey's been and how you kind of ended up where you are.
Yeah, of course. Agreed. Pageants are definitely a mystery in Australia. Us pageant women are doing our best to really get the word out there on what pageants actually are, and they have changed and grown so much, which is really, really exciting. And it is our job as reigning pageant queens to really change the way society sees pageants. So I really hope to do that today through my story. So it is a very long story, so I'm going to try and keep this nice, short, and sweet. But I feel like I've lived a million different lives before I came to become a pageant queen. This is definitely not a place or an industry I ever imagined I would find myself in. So my journey really began when I was a young girl. And I mean, I think so many of us grew up watching Miss Universe on TV. A lot of us did. I know I did.
Guilty,
You did
yes.
as well, Lucy? Yeah, okay, cool. I'm not alone.
I don't-
um, but I always saw those women and I was just like, oh, they're so beautiful and they're so elegant. But it never, ever, ever entered my mind at the age of about 15 that I would be sitting here today talking to you with my own crown and my own sash and my own journey and experience in the industry, and one I know I will be in for a very long time. I'm just beginning. So when I was 15, that really started my point in, I guess, my confidence struggles. And a lot of my journey and the businesses and my platform, as you so nicely spoke about, Lucy, is about confidence. And that is definitely my journey. So when I was 15, it was a small thing that was said, but I really want people to understand that words do matter. And what you say to people, you have no idea what's going on in their life. And I think it's so important that, yeah, you just be kind with your words to people. And something was said to me at 15, which had a profound impact on the next 15 years of my life. And I was running around my neighborhood, and a boy that I knew said that I was too fat to be running in public. And
That is
um,
heartbreaking. That's like the most horrible thing someone can say.
I
You're a
know, like
15-year-old, right?
I know, I'm a 15-year-old girl, lots of hormones running around, and really trying to discover who I am and my place in this world. And I never saw myself as fat at that point. I had never compared myself to other girls. I never looked at myself in the mirror thinking that there was something wrong with me.
Mm,
Uh, but at that point, I was like, oh, is this how people see me? And is there something wrong with me? And I was, wanting to be fit and wanting to enjoy life and going out, in public and running and all of that, to then have someone to shut me down. And like I said, it is a small thing, but it had a profound impact because it's really that pivotal point in my life where I started to see myself differently, compare myself to other girls, and my self-worth and my confidence was no longer internal and was now external.
mm,
So all of who I thought I was and the way I looked and my worth now was based on how I thought others saw me. Not
mm,
necessarily how they did see me, but how I thought they saw me. So I went on this very long journey of trying to find my confidence, trying to fall in love with myself. And through that process, did a lot of things that I am not proud of. I have forgiven myself, and I am so grateful that I actually went on that journey and did those things, because it's truly the reason why I am here today and why I'm so passionate and why I have that empathy with other women, because I have walked in those shoes. So I would never change it for the world, but every single action that I did make was based on my lack of self-love and my lack of confidence. So just to name a few things, um, there was a lot of binge drinking, bulimia, drugs, and I also used sex to, as I thought that was how I used that, where I was always searching for love.
mm,
And as a young girl, to me, that meant someone found me attractive, and to me, that meant someone loved me. And I mean, now looking back, I was so wrong, but at the same time, it's really made me be able to connect so well with so
mm.
many adolescent women going through that. So yeah, that was really like about a 15-year journey. And then in that process, I joined the army. I joined the army at 25,
Mhm.
through a relationship breakdown. Like I said, literally everything in those 15 years were based on my self-worth and my confidence, and went through a relationship breakdown and decided
And
to
you thought it
join
was
the
a good idea to join the army.
army.
Way to rebound.
I decided to have a relationship with the army. I was like, this is going to teach me some stuff, and it certainly did. And once again an experience I would so grateful for. But going into that, I had no confidence, I had no self worth, and a girl who has none of that going into the army, I was in for a wild ride, and it certainly was that. So for 4 years I was there, ups and downs, but learnt so much, and I grew. The resilience I now have all stems from that. So grateful for that. And then I left the army and joined correction. So I actually became a prison guard. Was in that industry for 6 years. So apparently I like uniform jobs. Uh, and I like tough industries which make you grow. I seem to be attracted to that. So
Well, I
for
was
six
noticing you'd kind of really drawn to kind of masculine environments with
I
like the army and the corrections, and
was.
just a
I
very sort of masculine draw there.
Yes, 100%. And I'm still, in some ways, attracted to that. I do love fast-paced environments. I love challenging environments. I love the feeling of growth and how you become so proud of yourself when you get through those obstacles. And I found those uniform jobs really created that environment. So that's what I
Mhm.
was really attracted to in those types of jobs. But I've certainly found that in a different way here in the pageant industry, a lot more female focused, a lot more female empowered. But what I guess the question probably everyone has is, how does a girl or a woman go from army, corrections to pageantry?
Mm,
So that's really where my story does truly begin. And it was at the end part of my journey of corrections that I had to leave. And I was, I guess, in somewhat forced to leave by myself, for my own mental health, due to an experience I had there that was enduring for 6 months with one of the prisoners. And it was becoming very, very hard for me to go to work. I had night terrors, getting very emotional going there. And just to paint a little bit of a picture, the prison industry naturally is volatile. You
mm,
never know what you're walking into. Everything is based on how the prisoners are going to behave. So you're already on edge
mm.
every day at work, and then this particular 6 month ordeal just made everything so much worse and so much harder. You got a dog in the background?
Sorry, some dogs are running around. Yes.
I love that. So, yeah, love dogs. So yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that really, and although I had created so much resilience and I was used to such challenging environments, this was just the tipping point, I guess, for me. And when I then decided to take time off and leave work, that's really where my mental health struggles actually started.
Mm,
So it's how I dealt with the trauma. I guess I was already like that flight or fight, like I was already very on edge and heightened for 6 months, but I was still able to push through and do the job I had to do and turn up every day. But as soon as I left work, I no longer had to do that. And I just kind of let everything go. And that's really when the depression and PTSD set in. And what I then tried to, and then what I did for 2 years, this leads me to the pageant industry. What I did for 2 years was remove every part of my femininity,
mm,
every part of my looks, every part of who I was. I stopped showering. I stopped taking care of myself, which was not going to the gym anymore, eating poor food. I basically went from the real prison to creating my own prison, and I didn't really leave my four walls or interact with the community for about 2 years. So
wow.
then a lot of social anxiety was then created, and I truly became a completely different person, really just a shadow of who I was. And what made this even harder was my husband and I had just become married when all of this started. So navigating a brand new marriage, and then he completely lost his wife.
Mm,
So I have an unbelievable husband who has been my rock. So I really want to, shout out to Nathan. He has enabled me to get through this, because if it wasn't for him, I don't really want to know where I would be, or if I would
mm,
be here, from the thoughts that I had. So he really did save me. But what got me into the pageant industry was I was scrolling through Instagram, and there was a sponsored ad that came up. Well, I was sitting on the couch feeling sorry for myself, very victim mindset. And this sponsored ad came up that said, "Become the best version of you." And there were these women with crowns on. And at this stage, I was on medication, and nothing could nothing could help me out of that hole.
mm,
And my family couldn't, my husband couldn't, my friends couldn't, and medication wasn't helping as much as I hoped at that point, because I wasn't doing anything to help myself as well.
mm,
It was, the onus is on you. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to mental health is you have to get yourself out of that hole. And I wasn't getting myself out of that hole. And that's why nothing else was helping. So I saw this, and that's when I put my application in for the pageant. And I had 4 months to go from darkest place, depressed
mm.
girl who wasn't doing anything to help herself, to being on stage in 4 months. And I got to work.
That is a pretty ballsy commitment to make when you're feeling already trapped, like not only in your own walls, but like within your own mind as well, to go like, you know what, I'm just going to put myself out there and get on stage. Like that's a massive commitment and a very courageous move to make. I totally resonate with what you're saying with regards to medication and depression, and the sense that you're like, well, now that I'm on this medication, I should be feeling better. And it doesn't always work like that. When I got diagnosed with depression and my doctor wanted to medicate me, I actually kind of had a quite adverse reaction to it. I was like, no, because I don't want to go down that path. Like I want to take back control of my life. I don't want to be reliant on medication to get me through this situation that I was navigating at the time. And that's when I went to work, was when that was my wake up call, was like, if you don't start taking action now, you're going to end up on medication. And I knew other people who had been down that path, and I was like, I don't want that for me. So for you to be at that space and knowing that what you were doing, like in the conventional methods that were being provided to you, weren't actually having that impact and giving you that hope that you were looking for, to just go, what is it? Like I've got there's nowhere else to go. I might as well give it a go. Like what went through your head when you're like, oh, I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring? A little bit more dramatic than trying to enter like Farmer Wants a Wife or something like that. So
yes, already married, so couldn't head into Farmer Wants a Wife. But so the way I saw it was I had stripped away every part of my identity, and there were skills that I had in my life that I completely lost. And, public speaking was one of them, something that I always loved to do. But I just, and I was naturally an ambitious woman.
mm,
I had goals and I had dreams, and all of that was gone.
mm,
And for me, based on the experience I had been in, I wanted to, if I was going to do anything, I did need to enter a mainly female industry
mm,
due to my triggers with PTSD. I didn't actually know necessarily, I guess with PTSD, there's triggers that you know, and there's triggers that you don't know. And I didn't want to trigger myself or put myself into situations where I thought I could be triggered. So
mm,
for me, that was, if I was going to do anything, embark on anything, it had to be a female industry.
mm.
So the other thing that when I went through the research, so I did research it a little bit, like I didn't just look at the ad and go, enter, apply. So probably should have, explain that a little bit. I did go on, first of all, I had no idea that married women that were over the age of 28 could enter pageants. That was a brand new, like, oh my gosh, there's a world for us. There's a place for us in pageantry. This is
Is there
exciting.
a place for divorced women?
Correct. There
Oh,
is. You would be
wow.
in the Ms. category.
Oh, Ms.
Ms. Yes. So we've got your preteens, we've got your teens, your Miss, your Ms, your Misses. So there's
Everyone's
it
covered.
it is a very inclusive industry, which I absolutely love. So, but when I went to do the research, I went to this pageant, which was Australia Galaxy Pageant. I went to their website and I looked at it and I was like, what's involved? What would I have to do? What would this journey be like? When is the competition? All that sort of stuff. So I found out it was in May. I was like, okay, I got 4 months. Then I was like, okay, what else do I have to do? And there was appearances, and there, I could see there was, you didn't have to create a platform, but throughout my research, I saw, all right, platform, charity, you have a voice for something. So it's all about impact and community.
Mm,
There's the stage stuff. And going through it all, I absolutely loved their tagline, become the best version of you. B, I loved all of the values and morals and everything that I could see on the website. But C, I knew that the journey over the next 4 months was really going to push me in every single aspect of
mm.
my life. It wasn't just, all right, let's go and do a bikini competition. So the only aspect, like I know there's, like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
um, So, that's definitely incredible. But what I loved about this was there was the appearances, getting out in the community. That was going to really test my social anxiety. That was
Mm,
also going to help me start speaking again and having a voice, because I hadn't had a voice for so long.
mm,
It was going to give me something to advocate for. So really find something that was important to me and make a difference. And then there was the sisterhood. So I had lost communication with so many friends, and I
mm.
really lost such a big circle in my life that I was like, I can find a sisterhood again. Then, the stage part. All right, so I need to get back in the gym. I need to start eating healthy. I need to learn how to walk. I need to put on high heels. I need to find dresses. That was really going to help me with my femininity and find that part of myself that I used to love, and putting makeup on and wearing dangly beautiful sparkly earrings and glitter. Like, as you can see, I'm such a glitter lover.
So much
Sparkles,
sparkle. I love it. I
so
love
much sparkle. But that was who I used to be, and I
it.
lost
Mm,
her. So I knew through this journey, being female focused, I was going to be able to work on myself but feel safe in doing so.
mm. It sounds like it was a really holistic coming back to yourself, with working on so many different elements of like who you are and rediscovering your true nature and purpose, like who you were born to be, in a really challenging and amazing way, like having that really finite goal to work towards. Like you had a date that you had to kind of level up by. So I actually really love the kind of awareness and process that you went through there. You kind of went through this awareness of like, I'm not enjoying where my life's at. Things are a bad space. You knew that for a while though, right? But then you're like, well, here's this opportunity. And it's kind of like, oh, well, actually, if I can start putting one foot in front of the other again, and I can start taking these actions, it's going to reopen up these opportunities that I once had. I can connect with myself again, find my femininity, find my voice and my confidence through that. And I've got to do it by May, which is, yeah, that's just absolutely amazing and really courageous to kind of have that awareness and then the clarity to then be able to move forward towards it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It was definitely a up and down journey, and that's something that I really love to explain to people and make sure that they're aware of is, I didn't just get off the couch and be like, "All right, let's go." And just
Sorry.
no, it's all good. I usually have my dog here. He'd be whining right now, me not giving him attention. So I totally get it. But yeah, it wasn't like, oh, okay, I've entered into this pageant. I've got 4 months. Let's go. And it was just, an exciting, beautiful journey. Like, not at all. It was up and down and 2 steps forward and 1 step back and 1 step forward and 3 steps back. And there was so much going on because I literally had to go from just, I didn't even know who I was anymore. Just,
Mhm.
I had to recreate everything. And it was a big journey and a big job, but possible. And I think from my journey, I really want people to know it is up and down. And there were
Mm,
days where, I had a great day. And then there were days where it was such a struggle to get out of bed and just doing one thing. Every single day, I really wanted to successfully tick off one thing to
mm,
move forward. And some days I ticked off 3 or 4 things, and other days it was just one thing. And so I had like a list of things that I know that I needed to do. So, like appearances, go to the gym, eat healthy, skincare routine, shower, get out of bed. Um, so there was like a list of things because I had to work from rock bottom. So I
mm.
had to really write a list. And yeah, some days it was just getting out of bed, having a shower, and not and going to the gym that day,
Yeah.
or getting out of bed, having a shower, not going to the gym, but eating well for my body.
Yeah.
And then there were other days where it was get out of bed, shower, gym, eating well, going to an appearance, doing an interview, and working on my platform. So like there were some days it was really good and other days that weren't. And I never knew how I was going to feel until I woke up that day. And that's kind of the depression and PTSD that I was working with. Like, am I going to have a night terror the night before and wake up completely lack of sleep and just be so flat that I knew I was going to have a really hard day? or am I going to wake up, power out of bed, so excited because I know I've got this goal? So every day was very different. And I had to really, I guess, be so loving to myself and just know what I needed to do to be proud of myself every day. So yeah. And then I also really want people to know that it doesn't have to take that long for you to change the trajectory of your life. It
Mm,
took me 4 months, and those 4 months have just, like, my future will be forever changed
mm,
because I focused on working on who I wanted to be and really manifesting the woman that I wanted to become, and worked out a game plan for those 4 months and what I had to do to become that woman. And it only took 4 months. So
mm.
I think there are two really big things I want people to really take away from my journey.
Yeah, I think that the more that we can really normalize, life is not like this. Life is up and down. And even if you're not struggling with depression, right? Life is still up and down.
Yeah.
And it's still a journey. And some days we nail it and some days we don't. But as long as you don't quit, right? And you keep moving forward. And if it's just one thing you can achieve each day, that's okay. And be gracious to yourself enough. Like you would forgive someone else if they showed up and only did one thing, but we are just so harsh on ourselves of like, and I am definitely guilty of this because my expectations of myself are very high. So I'm like, well, I've got these 10 things I need to do today. And if I only get 2 of them done, I've got to like check in with myself and go, well, you know what? You got 2 things done.
Yeah.
Give yourself a bit of grace. Because yeah, I'm very much like, but I could have done more. And it's like, well, no, you probably actually did the best you could with what you were working with. And also the absolute mind blank. Your second point that you just had. Oh, it doesn't take as long. One decision. That's where I was going. I was like, I had another relevant thing there. One decision, right? Like it took you 4 months to go from point A to point B, but it's the power of a decision and the power of a choice that you made, kind of like, I'm going to go for this and I'm going to do it. So yes, you had amazing changes over 4 months, but it all stems back to making one choice and one decision and then backing yourself with action, right? So it's kind of like you can have amazing change as soon as you make that decision, and you're one decision away from a totally different life.
Oh, 100%. And there's three things that I love to say when it comes to that. And it's, let me get the order right. It is decide, declare, develop.
Beautiful.
So it's decide, like you've got to make a decision. And that day when I looked at the website, I looked at the apply button, like I made a decision. Like, okay, Leah, this is it. This is your goal. This is what you're going to do. This is the thing that is going to help you get out of your hole
Yeah.
and become the woman you were always destined to be. This is it.
Mm,
And so decide. Like I decided, not enough's enough. I'm over being a victim. I was such a victim. I had such a victim mindset. I
mm,
was so over that. No one else was going to come to save me. No one. I had to save myself. And it's no one else's responsibility to save me either. It's
mm.
mine.
Yeah.
I had to save myself. And this is what I decided was going to be the thing that I was going to use, the catalyst
Mm,
to get out of the place I was in. And then declare. I declared it on social media to the world, to everyone. I've entered a pageant. I got 4 months. Let's go. So
that's
declare it, like declare it to yourself, declare it to your friends and family, declare it to the world. Like there was no escaping. In
yeah.
4 months, I was going to be on that stage, and I have very high expectations of myself. I'm, yeah, ambitious when I know that I want to achieve something. So I knew that I just wanted to be so proud of the woman I was presenting in 4 months' time.
Mm,
It wasn't to win. It wasn't anything about that. It was just so I was proud of what I was presenting.
mm,
So I declared it. I declared it to the world, to myself, to everyone. And then I developed.
mm,
So I developed for 4 months. So the woman that I was when I decided and I declared was not going to be the woman I needed to be proud of
mm.
standing up on that stage. So I had to develop. I gave myself 4 months because I had a deadline. I didn't have 5, I didn't have 6, I had 4. But I developed, and there were so many things that I had to do to really, really develop, to not only stand on stage and be proud, but to also win the national crown on my very first pageant. So I knew I had to get to work, but there are three things that I really also want people to take away is, yeah, decide. You have to make a decision. Otherwise, you're never going to move forward in life. Declare it to yourself and to the world, and then give yourself time to develop.
100%. 100%. So kind of leading on from that, what advice would you have to offer someone who's kind of looking to increase their self-confidence or kind of struggling a little bit, like knowing that they're in a bit of a rut, but not really sure how they can kind of take that power within themselves and put themselves out there confidently? Is there any advice that you have for people struggling in that space?
Yeah, so I certainly struggled. When I look back and I reflect on, what did I actually do, or what are the main things that I did to help myself through that? Sorry, my email's going nuts and I don't know how to silence it. Um, so there's five things. So self-worth,
Mm-hmm.
environment, self-care, which for me was health and fitness, goals, and something that I like to call illuminate. So I'm going to expand just very, very briefly on these. So self-worth, you have to work on, and it's not going to be an overnight thing. You have to work on having the self-worth come from within. So
Mm-hmm.
if you continuously have your self-worth and your confidence based on everyone around you, therefore, whenever something happens in your life, whether it's a relationship breakdown, you lose your job, you become bankrupt, like whatever happens in your life, if your self-worth and your confidence is external, then your life is going to be like this. You're going to be up and down, because everything is based on what's happening in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you have self-worth and confidence from within, and you know that your self-worth is not your relationship, it's not your bank account, it's not your job, it's not the car you drive, it's not the house you have. If you know that your self-worth isn't all of those things, and your self-worth is all based on the fact that you were born and you wake up every single day and you deserve to be here and you're here for a reason, and your self-worth is completely based on that, then you can work through the challenges on your life. And your confidence is going to go up and down. We have to work on our confidence every single day. It goes up and down. There are some days I'm like, I walk out of the house and I'm feeling rocking, I'm feeling hot, and then there's other days I'm like, oh, I don't feel too good today, but we'll get through it. Confidence goes up and down, but your self-worth, what gets you through the hard days, is knowing that you are so worthy to be here and you're so worthy of everything in your life, and it's not based on anyone else. So that's a really big thing that you just need to continuously tell yourself. It doesn't change overnight, but it's just a thing that you need to continuously wake up, say that you're worthy, say that you're capable, say that you're beautiful, say that you're confident. Whatever you need, all over your wall, your mirror, everything. Just keep saying those things to yourself. And two is environment. And this really helps the self-worth. It's by having an amazing environment of people around you that lift you up and don't bring you down. So until you believe that you are worthy, have people around you that continuously tell you that you're worthy. That is so important. Have people that are your cheerleaders, have people that are on the same path as you, and have people that are in front of you in your life, which are your mentors. They scare you, they push you, so that you're not the smartest person in the room all the time, because then you're never going to grow. So you need, I feel, a myriad of different people in your life for different stages and for different goals, to make you feel loved, to support you on your journey, but then to also push you towards your goals and your dreams. And then health and fitness, to me, it is so important to really take care of yourself, because I find it hard to be confident if I am feeding myself bad food and I find that my energy goes down as well if I'm not getting myself to the gym, and I notice it. Like if I miss a day of just getting out there and moving my body, I notice a difference in how I feel. So take care of your health, take care of your energy, take care of your gut, take care of your mind, take care of all those things, and just feed yourself like you love yourself and move your body like you love yourself, and you will love yourself.
Yes.
Fourth one is goals. I'm pretty sure that's self-explanatory throughout my journey. If you want to progress in life, you want to push yourself, you need goals. And you also, that confidence is built through progressing and being proud of yourself. And if you aren't doing things each day to move forward in life and to be proud of who you're becoming, then it's going to be very hard to be confident. So find audacious goals that do scare you a little bit and do push you, because that's where that growth is going to come from, and that's how confidence is developed. And five, lastly, illuminate. This is what I've done throughout the last couple of years, is forgiven myself for all the things that I did for the last 15 years, the things that I was so shameful for. I'm no longer ashamed of them, because I know that all of those things happened in order for me to now be where I am today. I would not be on this journey or this path or this trajectory in life impacting so many women if I didn't have that past. So don't be shameful of your past. Put voice to it so that you can encourage other women and other people to no longer be ashamed. Because if you're ashamed, you're giving the world a facade of who you really are. You're not truly showing the world who you are, and you're hiding, you're creating more darkness, that shadow self. So I completely illuminate my shame. I show it to the world, because I am so, so, so proud of the woman I've become, and it is the past that I use as my strength.
I love that. I love that. So you've had your crown since May last year. I understand you get to keep it for a year. So we're kind of coming back up to May again. What's next? What happens now for you?
Okay, so I hand over my crown. Oh, but I get to keep this.
You get to keep
So
it. Okay, that's good because it's pretty amazing. So
I'm like, no one take my crown. So I hand it over, but a different one. I
yeah.
just hand over the title. So that happens in May in Sydney. And then I am embarking on a new, got hair in my mouth. Um, so much hair. I'm embarking on a new pageant, a new journey, which will be Mrs. World. So that's kind of, well, that is the pinnacle pageant for Mrs. contestants. It is held in Las Vegas next year in January. So I need to go to the national competition in Perth to get the national title, to then be able to compete representing as Mrs. Australia. So that is my next goal. That's what I'm working towards at the moment. So yeah, that's what's next for me.
That's what's next for you. That's awesome. And we kind of touched on it quite early on, but you've also, as a part of this journey that you've been on, you've now got your own podcast, you've got your company that you've co-founded as well. So how are you helping people through those avenues? And yeah, kind of what are you putting out there for people to get involved with on that front?
Yeah, so I've got the confidence edit, and that truly was created from my journey, like the 5 things that I really spoke about. The strong focus there is health and fitness, but also creating that sisterhood, creating that environment. So helping women, it is women specific, which is really, the environment that I wanted to create, and really create a space for women to feel really, really safe while they go through this journey. So for me, health and fitness was paramount in me becoming confident. So the confidence edit really is about that. We also have events that we host as well, and there are lots of different events where it comes. We do panels where we get different speakers on board talking about confidence. We have other events coming up next weekend. We've got cocktail events, yoga events, and really just creating that environment for women to be able to feel safe, but then work on their health and work on their fitness. And then through that as well, we give a lot of tools and tips and advice and support in helping with their mindset and knowing their goals and keeping them on course with their goals. So that's the confidence edit.
And is that only for people who are looking at going into pageants, or is that open to everyone?
No, that's not pageant connected at all. That's literally for every single woman that wants to work on their confidence, and feeling like they need their own cheer squad while they go on that journey.
Amazing. We'll make sure all the links for that are in the show notes so people can find you. and so they can get in touch with you. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we wrap up? Any other little nuggets of gold you wanted to share with our audience?
Oh, nuggets of gold. Ah, I just think I just want every woman to know how worthy she is to be here, and that every person, I'm going to speak to women because that is my my target market, my network. So you are so worthy to be here, and it is such a waste. Like, it is such a waste of your life to just sit back and stay silent and not to chase your dreams. I feel so many women get caught up in the rat race and the busyness of life, and get caught up in their own stories as well. You know, who am I to do this? Who am I to say that? Who am I to pursue this? But it is honestly such a waste for you to sit back and not give your voice and not give your light to the world. So I really want everyone to just embark on finding out what their passion is. How can you make impact in the world? And through that, you're going to change your life, but then have such a profound impact on those around you. And I truly believe that's why we're here on this world, is not just to impact our immediate circle, but truly be able to impact and make change in the world. And if we can all band together and do that, the world is just going to, continuously be a better place, and our voices are going to be louder. And obviously, you're always going to have, the negative in the world. We can't take that away. But if we just, make ourselves shine bright and support each other and not bring each other down, but lift each other up, our world that we decide to live in will be so much better. And I just really want women to work out what that is, just to really sit deep, have a glass of wine, have your girlfriends around, sit deep. What do you want to do in your life? And go and do it. No matter how scary it is, no matter how much you think you're not worthy or capable, just start, and you will feel that worthiness, and that capability will come as you work through that journey.
Beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you. Well, I want to wish you all the best on your future endeavors towards Mrs. World. That's absolutely amazing. And I'm definitely going to be watching and cheering you along every step of the way. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast today. It's been really great chatting with you, getting to know you a bit better, and also learning more about the pageant industry and kind of how that works within Australia as well has been very interesting. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Lucy. I really, really enjoyed it. Hopefully I didn't talk your ear off too much.
No, it's been fabulous. Thank you very much. We'll be watching with anticipation to see how you go. So thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.